Greetings, Saberites! Nonymous here. Wanted to shout out a little tip to everybody about knees and knee positioning. This is something that comes up a whole lot when we're talking about stances and footwork and all of that kind of thing. And we usually give the same kind of advice, but there are certain particulars which I think can be challenging, especially for people just starting out. Now, the basic rule of thumb is this. We want our knee pointing the same direction as our toe, right? We don't want to see anything like this, where, especially this, where our knee is pointing in one direction and our toe is pointing in another. We want them, right here and lined up. Now that means pretty much whenever we've got weight on it. So obviously if I have no weight on this, it's not going to matter where this is. But if I don't have any weight on this, I can rotate it more from the hip, and I can actually keep my toe and knee still in line. And I kind of do want to do that because I want to be able to put my foot down whenever I can. Now, the reason we want to do that is we want to prevent something called valgus collapse, which is the leg falling in like this. Sometimes they call it flat feet, because what will happen is this. Your arch drops and your knee comes over here. Now this distorts your ankle and puts a lot of pressure on this side of the knee, and of course loads your leg almost completely wrong. And it obviously leads to a lot of injury. But what will happen also is that if your knees are doing that and you're not quite aware of it, not only will you start to get overuse injuries or aches and pains and stuff, but it's actually also holding you back, because your nervous system can kind of sense that things aren't quite right in that knee, and so it's going to pull you back from doing anything too aggressive on it to prevent injury there. So that's kind of where we want to go. Now, it becomes difficult in attack stance and anything like this, because when we're looking down here at our foot, no matter where the angle of our foot is, right, our knee needs to be pointing that same direction. Okay, so this is why I advise most people to start either with about a 45-degree angle in their back foot, especially if they're in attack stance where this is weighted, right, to about a 90-degree. Okay, when we see people gonna go on, especially beginners, going off past 90, we see this a whole lot. Okay, so we want, if we've got our foot pointing to a 90-degree angle here, right, our knee should also be there. And that means that our hips need to be open. And that also means this needs to be here. So if I have all of those things correct, then when I line up a line, they're all going to be in one line, okay? It's very easy to get into this, to where we're going to let the hip kind of come in and have this collapse, and we go onto the inside of the foot. So really, you want to focus on keeping the thighs rotating outward. Okay, this is one of the reasons why we practice this stance, do-back rider, mabu in some circles and stuff like that, is because we're really practicing rotating our thighs outward, okay, and getting that outward rotation. When we're here, we want to make sure that we've got our thighs outward, rotating outward, so that our knees stay in alignment. If we go to here, then what's going to happen is we're going to start pushing off the side of our foot, which isn't going to give us good momentum. We're not going to be able to put stuff into the heel, which means we're not going to be able to generate enough power, well, enough speed and power, because we need to be launching off of that foot, right? Also, we may start shifting our weight off of this leg because the body's recognizing that something's wrong. Now, attack stance or defense stance is the same, okay? It's just reversed, okay? Just remember that when we're rotating the leg like this, okay, it moves like one piece, one big key, okay? The other way that you can think about it is when you're doing, if you're following some of the Makashi stuff, and you do a front cross step. Now a front cross step is like this, okay? It's not really crossing in front. I'm not putting my feet like this. What I'm doing is I'm moving this foot up here. Now look at the angle of this foot as I'm here. And this can be the angle that I just stay at when I come out to here. Right? Now, if I want to change that angle or I feel more comfortable in another angle, I can go out to about 90 here. And now I get into this, which is that very common stance there. And it's the same thing on the other side. From right here, move in, foot is at that angle, and that's where it stays. Okay? So we don't necessarily want to step forward like this and then try to grind our foot forward as we come forward. We want to place this foot down at a good angle out so that we don't have to move it when we come back into here, and we can still maintain that movement through pressing into the ground. Okay? And again, good body mechanics, when I push into the ground here, I can push directly into the heel and come out. Okay? Same thing up there. If this is in like this, what happens is I come off the side of the foot again. Okay? And we don't want that to happen. Now, are your knees going to snap in half if you do this wrong? No. But if you continue to do it wrong, you can create some pretty severe limitations in your body mechanics and the way that you move. So we really, really recommend, and this is, you know, if you want to use your knees, take care of them. Keep them right in line here. Okay? So if I want to be out like this is still fine as long as my knees are in line with my toes. Right? If I'm like this is no good because my lower leg is rotating out. It's putting a lot of stress on the ligaments there, and I've got the valgus collapse where I don't have a lot of support directly underneath my body weight. So all of these things to keep in mind. Okay, so that about covers it. Just remember to pay attention to those knees and lower body. Very, very important. Most of sword play is in footwork. So until next time, patience, practice, perseverance. Happy sabering.